have a blog called The Kylo Chic Life. You can find me on social media at Kylo Chic, which is K-A-I-L-O-C-H-I-C. And this class is brought to you today by FIMO and Stadler North America. So if you want to give them a follow too, you can find a lot of fun clay crafting ideas on their social media, their Instagram. It's just at Stadler North America. And then if you make any of these projects, earrings, or anything using the Stadler Leather-Effect or the FIMO Leather-Effect Clay, be sure to tag those on social media with, there's several hashtags. You can do MyFIMO, Make It With Michaels, or the Stadler, it's hashtag Stadler_NA for North America. So any of those, that way they can see your creations and maybe share you on their social channels as well. So let's go ahead and get started. I think that was all that I needed to mention at the beginning. So today I'm going to share several different techniques for jewelry making. And let me just get that off. Okay. So first of all, I'm just going to run through a few of the techniques that I will be sharing with you today, and then we'll get started on actually using the clay, and I'll talk a little bit more about it and its unique functionality. So these are some fun bangle bracelets that I made. I'll actually talk about the functionality right now. The Leather-Effect Clay is an oven hardening clay, just like regular polymer clay, but it actually has cellulose fibers in it, so it makes it flexible and bendable like real leather. And so these are fun bangle bracelets that I just used and cut out of there, and they're really chunky and really unique, and you can kind of make them in any shape or pattern. And when you layer them together, they're really fun and very 80s and early 90s reminiscent. I've also been using a lot of my scrap clay. Once I've made a pattern on it or something like that, I will roll it and create these other sort of chunkier bangle bracelets as well. So I'll show you how to do that, which is very simple. And then we'll also talk about pattern clay and how to make your own pattern. So you can see that here, and I have another leopard. You can do this in any sort of color. We'll do some fun shaped leaves. So these, as you can see, it's very flexible, and that's one of the unique features of this Leather-Effect Clay that you don't get with the regular polymer clay. But this fun palm leaf, or it could even be, or I mean, I guess, yeah, palm leaf. It could also be a feather for fall if you're looking for something like that. And then some other ones where I actually draw on the clay with a paint pen after they're used, and you can kind of see the ones, I'll take it out real quick, that I made here that are a Monstera leaf that I drew a little detail on. It's nice that you can use the paint pens on this clay after it's been baked, so that you can get some very intricate designs that you may not be able to get with the clay itself pre-baking. So we will get started. I'm going to start with these bangle bracelets because they are really one of the easiest things to start with if you're new to jewelry making, because it doesn't require any findings, any special equipment. Really, it's just the clay and a rolling pin and maybe a pair of scissors or an X-acto knife. So for these, if you have a clay roller, you could definitely use that, but a rolling pin will do too. Because these bangle bracelets, you want them a little bit chunkier, maybe about 1/8 of an inch thick, a rolling pin works just fine. Oh, it's fine for those. Sorry, that's a little loud. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask while I'm crafting. I'll stop every once in a while and try to read those, or have somebody read them off to me so that I can answer any questions that you might have about the process. Like I said, with the Leather-Effect Clay, it has some unique properties that regular clay, the regular polymer clay doesn't, like the regular FIMO clay. And one of those is, one, that it's flexible once it's baked. Two, it has actual leather look. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if it'll focus on there, but it has a kind of texture to it. You can kind of see the light there hitting it. You can see that texture to make it look like real leather. And then you can cut it after it's been baked, and it's bendable and moldable and all of that stuff. So I really like the aspects of it being able to be cut and that it's flexible. So it really lends itself to jewelry differently than the standard polymer clay does. So for the bangle bracelets, I found one whole brick of clay really works best for the bracelets to get them really nice and chunky. But if you want it to be not as over the top, feel free to cut that down a little bit, but you can still roll out an entire brick, and then you can always trim away any extra that you don't need. So once you have it about 1/8 of an inch thick, let's see, this needs to be a little thinner. What I like to do is then take my X-acto knife and kind of just give it a rough cut. Now, because you can cut this after it's been baked, you can always trim it up after it's been baked to get it just exactly how you like, if it gets malformed or anything while you're in the process. But you can always just cut off the extra beforehand and then do some fine tuning once it's baked. So really nothing too intricate about this. I mean, just the, you know, organic shapes or triangular or just rectangles, however you want to do it. If you want a full-on circle, you can get a bowl or a cup to trace. But here you have my organic shaped jewelry, and then you can use a cookie cutter to cut out for the center, or at least to give you a guide. Again, with this one, I had used the cookie cutter, but it was not quite big enough. So once it was baked, I used the X-acto knife and I just cut it a little bit bigger. But now it's flexible, so I can just kind of get it on and off fairly easy without having to have any sort of closure or anything like that. Now I do like to rough cut it before I bake so that I don't waste all of this clay, because I would have baked this, I wouldn't be able to use it, but now I can reuse that. So there we have my rough cut bangle. You can stretch it if you want that hole bigger, or kind of really whatever you think and like. I really like the organic nature of these, and like I said, whenever they're stacked, you can kind of see all of the different pieces poking out, which I think is a fun aspect of them. Okay, so then you would just put this in the oven, bake it at 275 for 30 minutes, I believe. Now I'm getting confused because I've done this so many times. Of course, I believe it is 265. Okay, 265 Fahrenheit for 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how thick your piece is. Okay, so once you have that piece baked, as I mentioned, you can actually use paint pens to decorate it. So these three, once it was baked, I went over and I took just white and black. You want to make sure that it's an oil-based paint pen, but you can actually draw the pattern directly on it. So for example, this one, if I want the squiggles and the lines, I can just draw those shapes on there, and it doesn't get sticky or tacky or anything like that. And some of these more intricate designs, I like that I can use the paint pen on it, because there's no way that I could form the clay on here to make this pattern this detailed with the other clay. So this is always something you can do. Then you can add stripes or, you know, what have you for whatever kind of patterns you like. Obviously, I like 80s and early 90s inspired stuff. So I will just do some of those and make this fun bangle. There we go. Pretty quick, painless, and then we have some fun patterned bangle bracelets. So that is that. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, let's see. There were some questions. Yeah, 275 degrees or 265 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. I found some of the thinner stuff does set a little bit less than 30 minutes. You don't want to overbake it. Okay, and then let's see.
Tara?
Yes.
Do you recommend writing on the clay after it's baked? And what do you prefer to use to write or paint on the clay?
Yes, so I do it after it's baked. after it's baked, and I use an oil-based paint pen. So sorry, this has got paint all over it, but this one is just, this one's from Michael's. Oh, I have over here, sorry. Here we go. It's Craft Smart paint pen. This is a Sharpie brand, again, oil-based paint pen. I found these work the best. They don't get tacky or anything, but definitely do it after it's been baked so that it's set. And I don't want to bake that oil-based paint pen. I don't know what that would do. And then mixing leather with regular. I believe you can, but it will dilute the texture of the leather, so it may not have that nice leather effect that the clay does on its own. Yeah, I guess that's what, I'm sorry, I'm like going down the list and he's already handled that. So FIMO's already said that. Did you use the FIMO Soft for the bracelet? All of the projects that I'm sharing today are using the FIMO Leather-Effect. So none of them are using the FIMO Soft. They're all using the Leather-Effect clay. Now, as you can see, this is not as pliable of a bracelet because it is thicker, but it is the Leather-Effect clay as well. These ones are, now this one is super thin. This one is maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and it is super flexible. Now, some of the ones that are a little bit chunkier, like this white one, isn't as flexible because it is thicker. So you're gonna get a lot more bendability the thinner you roll it, but also you kind of want a little bit of sturdiness for the bracelets. So I would recommend no thinner than 1/8 of an inch for those in order to keep them holding up. Yes, if you bake it at too high of a temperature and too long, it will brown, it will burn. So you do not want to do that. I would say no more than 30 minutes at 265. That should be plenty of time and at the right temperature. I accidentally baked some projects that my kids made at like 400 degrees because I was just like, oh, just throw it in the oven while I'm, you know, and I had it preheating for something else and I was like, oh, I forgot to change the temperature and they burnt, so don't do that. Okay, so now that we've covered the bracelets, now the bangle ones, it's really just, you can kind of see this one is patterned. It's got a little bit of the leopard pattern. So I had actually used the scrap once I had made this compounded patterned clay and cut out the shapes for that. I had some left over, so I just rolled that and tried to keep some of that pattern. But it's really just rolling out the clay and forming it into a ring. So that one's not too difficult either. But if you have some of the patterned or marbled clay, you can kind of get that effect on those bangles as well. But it's a great way to use up the scraps once you've marbled something or you've done a patterned clay and you don't want to waste that clay and you can't really mix it together because it'll be all brown or black. These fun bangles are a great way to use that up and have something functional. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the patterned clay. I'll show you how to do the leather, the leopard pattern now. And so you guys can follow along with that if you want. I will go ahead and do this teal one. Yeah, I like to use parchment. As you can see, I have parchment here. I like to do it on the parchment, then I can just transfer this parchment to a baking sheet whenever I bake it. Qriket. So I think that helps. Or I just like, that's the method that I use. Okay, so I'm gonna actually use the clay roller for this. I'm only gonna do a pair of earrings, so I only need like half a brick. I don't wanna waste all of it by doing a whole pattern on the whole thing. So if you are using the clay rolling machine, I recommend starting at 1 and then just slowly working your way thinner and thinner to get a nice even. So that was the 1 setting, that's the thickest you can go. And now I'm gonna go down to a 3 and I'm gonna just turn it this direction so that it doesn't stretch out completely and roll that down to a 3. Since we will be doing a pattern on this, I'm gonna leave this at a 3 because I will be rolling it a little bit more once I add the pattern to it. And we will do a hot pink and black leopard print because that's the way I roll. So the clay rolling machine, Stadler sells one, but there are also available at Michael's in the clay section. So you just have to look and there's a clay rolling machine. Just use it for crafts. It's just basically like a pasta maker, but it only for crafting. So I just use this one for clay, and it helps me get a nice, even, thin look. So for the leopard, you are going to just start by adding little dots of clay in the inner color. And so I really just breaking off and adding these. They don't have to be perfect. They're not going to be circular. That's what's nice about the leopard pattern, is it's just very organic. So we will just be adding that haphazardly around the rolled out clay. So this pattern is really simple. It's a good beginner pattern. I've seen some of the people, if you don't already, definitely search on Instagram for like clay jewelry, because there are some people that are doing amazing things. They do some amazing cane work with it. I've seen like some plant canes where you cut it and it looks like little leaves. Very neat. But this is a great beginning pattern. And again, you could do this in black and white. You could do this in standard colors. There are, I believe, 12 different colors of the FIMO Leather-Effect. So there are some browns and tans and creams that you can use as well. I just love color, so I picked out all of my favorite colors, and that's what I'm using today. But feel free to modify this with any colors that you want. Now, all of these techniques, with the exception of maybe these bangle bracelets here, but this technique can be used with the FIMO Soft as well. We're just really focusing on the leather effect, and I like that texture that it adds to it. Just kind of gives it a little bit of a different look than the standard soft. Okay, so now I'm taking my black, which will be the outer rim of the leopard spots, and I'm just rolling it super thin, as thin as I can get it. And then I'm just going to cut off little sections to fold around the colored spots. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want to completely encompass them. With the black, you just want to bend it around a little bit. It's okay if it overlaps. It's okay if there's gaps. When you go to roll this pattern into the clay to really bond it and form it, all of that will kind of disappear. So. I have seen the clay machine in store at Michael's. I don't know what it's called, but it is in the section with the, there we go. Stadler just commented the name of it, because I have seen it in there and it looks almost identical, and it's right next to all of the clay. Yeah. So. A little time consuming, but you can also add just little chunks of separate black. As you can see in here, I have some without the green in there, so we'll do that as well. And then what's great about this is once you create your entire little pattern piece, then you can use any sort of cookie cutter. These are brand new. They're actually at Michael's as well. They're part of the collaboration with two of my blogging buds, Sarah Hartz and The Crafted Life, and they worked with Stadler to develop this line of craft clay cutters, specifically to use for the clay to make jewelry. So they have all of these different shapes. As you can see, there's ovals and half circles and flowers and U-shaped rainbow pieces, which really make the whole crafting jewelry so much easier. And they come in sets. So if you get the ovals, you get, all of the ovals of all the different sizes. Plus, I believe there's some others. So this was 4 sets, but they have so many different ones. They also have some pre-done pieces. So if you're looking for specific pendant pieces, then you're like, I can't do a pattern that good. You can actually buy the pendant pieces and then just add the jump rings and the ear hooks to them to create your own jewelry. Or you can pair them with some of the pieces that you make to make a very custom set of earrings or a necklace or something like that. So I am continuing to just wrap. As you can see, I'm going about halfway to 3/4 of the way around the pink spots, just to make that look super leopard without completely encompassing it. You don't want it to be polka dots, you want it to be leopard. but there's no real rhyme or reason or symmetricalness to this. It's just kind of creating that pattern, but I do want all of the pink dots that I added to have a little bit of black next to them. All right, so this is my last pink piece. I will throw in a few little blotches here and there. Now, whenever you are making a pattern like this, it helps to kind of know what sort of shape you're going to be cutting out of it, so you can see if the pattern is close enough or far enough away. Like I noticed some of my pink spots were a little bit spread out, so I'm going to fill it in with some solid black bits here, because if I want to use a shape like this U shape, I want to make sure that I have some of that pattern in there, because if there's a bunch of blank spots, then that's not going to look that great either. So I'm going to fill in here to make it really concentrated. A few. All right, so I have the leopard pattern here, and now it's all kind of sitting on top of the surface of the clay. It's not really worked in at all. It's very three-dimensional here. I don't know if you can tell that's just really sitting on top of the surface. So we're going to take the rolling pin and just gently press down and roll and press that pattern into the clay. And then this really just looks like a cool piece of leopard leather now, but you know, neon. So, and now you can see that that pattern is definitely worked in there, and it's very smooth, and it's just one full fluid piece instead of sitting on the surface. So now once you have this, this could be made into a bangle. You know, you could just cut that into a bangle shape if you wanted to. But I'm going to use some of these cutters to cut it and make a little pair of earrings similar to these. So I will do this half circle shape. And I'm just gonna find a nice piece that has like a good pattern selection on it and just press it down. I said 265 for 30 minutes. I believe this cures at a different temperature than the FIMO Soft. All right, I'm gonna cut another piece. So there we go, we have our two leopard pattern pieces, and then I'm gonna actually take, I'm gonna do a little coordinating here just like I did the other ones. I'm gonna take some of this pink and roll it out and get a little circle for the top. And this will be the top part of the earring once they're made. So this tool that I'm actually using right now is it's part of the Stadler North America FIMO line, and it is like kind of like a bead threader. So if you're making clay beads, you can use this to poke the hole in them. You can also use it to poke the hole, sorry, it's sticking to my hand, in the earrings. So you can just poke it in there and kind of make that little bit of a hole before you bake it. But what I really like about the Leather-Effect Clay is that you can actually use a hole punch after it's been baked. And I find that way I don't distort the earring shape at all. So once it's been baked, like here's a piece that's been baked, I can just take my hole punch in there, and this is a tiny, tiny little earring hole punch. And I can actually punch a hole, let's see, right there. You can see that? directly in it, and it just makes a perfect little hole that I can then use to put my findings on the earring. So I don't have to try to distort the pattern or the shape, like these little tiny circles trying to make holes in both of those sides that goes all the way through can be a little bit challenging. It can help, you can kind of distort the circle. So like that, but you can also use a tiny hole punch after it's been baked to make that shape as well. Or maybe you made a hole and then you forgot that you needed one at the bottom because you wanted to add some tassels or whatever. You can always use the hole punch to do that as well.
How easy would you say it is to cut, punch, or add any additions to your leather effect clay?
Yeah, so it's definitely very easy, and I'm going to show you actually how to make this bow, or how I make a bow. But you can really just take a standard pair of scissors or an X-acto knife to cut the clay once it's been baked. So I'm going to move this to the side because that's too pretty to mess up. So this is a piece that I baked. I made the pattern earlier and baked it, and as you can see, it's completely flexible, but it's not soft. It's not pulling apart. You can't roll it out any thinner, but it's definitely completely flexible once it's been baked. But you can also cut it. So it's super simple. So if I just cut this to, I mean, you can see it just is like, I don't know, cutting, it's like easier than cutting leather. It's like cutting fabric maybe or something, but it really just cuts off super quick and easy. And so you can make any shapes you want. So for this piece, I'm gonna cut off this leather, and I'm gonna save this for, I'm gonna actually make a little leopard bow, but I wanted to show you how you could make, say, like these earrings, these leafy ones. So what I did was I actually baked this clay. I rolled it out super thin. I believe this was like a 7 or 8 on the clay roller, which is, it looks like 1/32. I mean, it is not paper thin, but just a step above a cardstock type thickness. So it's pretty thin. And I'm going to cut out 2 leaf or feathers, or however, whatever you prefer. So I'm just freehanding this. You can also look online for templates, leaf templates, or palm leaf, or banana leaf, or feathers, but it's fairly straightforward cut. But as you can see, this is just, I mean, it just glides through, and this is just a standard pair of crafting scissors, nothing special here. Okay, so I have my 2 leafy shapes, and then I'm just gonna cut these little strips, not quite to the center, all the way up. Now, I believe there's a question about die cutting after it's been baked. If you do it thin enough, yes, you can use a die cut machine. And I actually used my Qriket Maker, and I was going to show that today, but it takes a little bit longer. It requires several passes. But I used the Qriket Maker with the knife blade to make these Monstera leaf earrings. So it actually cut it out of, and you can see that's a really intricate cut. Now I could try that with scissors, but it wouldn't be as perfect. But the Qriket Maker will cut that. You just have to make sure that it is fairly thin. Like I said, about maybe even an 8 or a 9. I would say an 8 on the clay machine, or about 1/32 of an inch. So as you can see, here we go. Let me see if I can get that up closer and have it focus. I just cut that all with scissors after it was been baked. So I just rolled out a really thin piece, baked it, and then cut that entire earring. And this kind of looks like a feather, but you could add some detailing or make it green if you wanted to do like a palm leaf or something. And then I'm just going to take the hole punch and punch that little hole to make that. And then for jewelry, if you aren't familiar, I mean, earrings are fairly straightforward, but you just need jump rings and some ear hooks and some pliers. So I will just add a little ear or a jump ring to this. And then I'm gonna have to cut that a little bit shorter. My jump rings aren't quite large enough. Just close up that jump ring, add on your ear hook, and you have a nice custom quick pair of earrings. And again, you could do this in any shape too if you wanted. I mean, you could print out any template, pumpkins, ghosts, whatever you want, you know, for Halloween or feathers or I don't know, something for Christmas, and that you could cut. Put that template on the baked piece of clay, and then you could even use an X-acto knife if you needed really fine detailing to cut it. But I like that once it's been baked, you're not going to squish the clay, you're not going to bend those intricate cuts and mess it up. It's really just very functional, and it really does work like a piece of leather, but it's not leather. So anyway, so there's the leaf shape. Let's see if there's any. Okay, so on the Qriket Maker, there is actually a leather setting, and that's what I use. I will, depending on the thickness of the leather that I end up rolling out, it actually has the thicknesses of the different types of leather that it can cut, and you just need to choose the one that's closest to the thickness of your clay that's been baked. And you're gonna wanna use either a regular or heavy duty sticky mat to keep it in place while it cuts, because it does take a couple of passes and it does require the knife blade on there. Yes, you could roll glitter into the clay. You could roll other clay into the clay. You could probably paint it with a little bit of the FIMO glaze and add some glitter afterwards as well. Can't see the jump ring. Oh, I don't think there's a way that I can zoom in, and my camera is tripoded up, but the jump ring, here, I can kind of bring it up here. Let's see. Oh, no, I'll drop it. Hold on. I went right back into my thing. So maybe do this. There's different sizes of jump rings. For jewelry, I like to use the teeny tiny ones. You can see that here. These ones I'll use for keychains. They're a little bit sturdier, so they don't like pull off if you're using a keychain or doing like a zipper pull or something. But for the earrings, I'll do these tiny ones. This is about a 6mm and a 4mm, and then even go up to an 8mm little jump rings. And you just, I'll show you with the bigger one, which makes it a little bit easier to see. You'll just hold it on either side. It's a split ring, so it's actually got a break in it, and you can see that it makes that hole. And then, I don't know if there's one that I can actually stick it in. You'll just stick part of that hole or that open end into whatever you're making. Oh, that just got that one. Here we go. You can just stick it in there and then just close it back up with the pliers. So, I mean, it's pretty, but you just want to bend it. If you've never used a jump ring, you want to bend it away like this, like twist it open this way instead of trying to pull it open, like trying to pull it. You don't want to pull the circle open like this. You want to pull it sideways like this. That helps. All right. Okay, so let's talk through the bow. And if anybody has any other questions, feel free to shoot them my way. So we've done the patterned earrings, the feather earrings, drawing on the clay. These, I just, again, used these shapes, or these shape cutters to make the different shapes, and then used the jump rings to attach, once they were baked, to attach the pieces to each other. So you can see there's some jump rings right here, and then I added little jump rings and the ear hook at the top. Okay, so yeah, I do have a question about, oh, and then the details of the stripes. I added that with the paint pen, which again, it's hard to get a nice, clean, thin stripe by doing the compounding method like this. So that's where I like the paint pens, where they come in. One thing about the leather effect, you can actually use super glue to attach it. And I don't have any pieces, so let me cut some. So if you are going to use or want to make an earring with a post instead of an ear hook, you can actually super glue the post onto the back of the earring. You can also super glue shapes. So, well, anyway, say like you have the cut and you made like little circles or something, and you want to add it afterwards so it has more like a dimensional look. You can actually take the super glue and put it on there, and then it'll glue on. So you can do that after it's been baked. Don't do the super glue before it's been baked. You want to make sure that's after. but you can super glue the shapes together. You can also super glue posts on. So if you wanted to have like a post on the back of this instead of the ear hook, you would just use the super glue to glue that post on. Yeah, any sort of super glue works. Bleed. This isn't, let's say after it's baked, does the color still rub off? What happens if it gets wet? The color does not rub off. After it's been baked, it's cured, and it's really just like a piece of plastic. So it's not going to, the color doesn't get off, and it's waterproof and everything like that. Yeah, the color does come off. This is why I have a piece of parchment here. You can also use a tile, like a ceramic tile or something like that you can cut on. But this does wash off. If you do happen to get it on your table, you can use soap and water to scrub that off, the color. Okay, so we will go ahead and talk through making a little hair bow, which maybe isn't jewelry for your hair, I guess, something like that. So this is just an alligator clasp hook. I do not know if super glue works for FIMO Soft. Sorry, I'm just reading the questions. That may be something that the FIMO team can answer for you. But I do know it works really well with the leather effect. Okay, so to make a hair bow, you're gonna need pieces like this. You can always find, you can find templates for this online. FIMO actually has a whole hair bow kit with little sample packs of the FIMO Leather-Effect Clay. You can find those at Michael's or Michael's Online. And it has the template directly in that pack. You can also find templates online for bows. It's pretty straightforward. I like to cut these with the clay that has already been baked. So I'm going to use this as a template and cut out from my leopard pattern here this bow shape so that I can glue it together, and I'll show you how that super glue works at that point. And we can make a little fun leopard hair bow. Now this would also be cute as a necklace. Again, any of these pendants that I'm sharing with you and showing you how to make can be made into a necklace by, instead of putting that ear hook on the jump ring, just threading a necklace chain through that jump ring, and then it would easily be a necklace. You could also make it into a keychain by sticking on a little keychain ring to that jump, or putting the jump ring on the keychain as well. So we have this is the, I don't know, the loop shape, and then this is the bottom piece, and then this will be the little piece that goes around to hold them into place. So I'm going to take my super glue here, and I'm just going to add a little bit. Be careful not to get it on your fingers, because I did super glue a piece of this to my finger. If you do that, acetone works really well to get that off. Just an acetone fingernail polish remover can release that super glue. Fun story, I was doing a craft a couple of years ago with a little cutout. It was like a plastic printout cutout picture of my family, and I accidentally super glued it to my fingers. And I didn't have any acetone fingernail polish remover, and I had to go pick up my kids from school. So I went to school with a little mini picture of my family stuck to my fingers to pick up my kids. So it was awesome. It was a good time. My friends are like, "What's on your hand?" I'm like, "Nothing, don't worry about it. Just a crafting mishap." So anyway, okay, so as you can see, the super glue works really quickly, and you just fold those little ends under, glue them, and then glue the top down. And then you're gonna take this piece to wrap around, and I will go ahead and trim this here at the back so that it's not too long. You want it to just wrap around once. And I will glue this into place, and then we can super glue it right onto that alligator clip to make a bow. So these are fun if you have a daughter that likes to wear bows in her hair. Mine does not. Do that. I would wear these myself, or these could be fun to like clip onto a purse or bag, or even make this into, you know, maybe like a little mini necklace or something as well. But just hold that in place till it yes, you could definitely put this on a headband. I would, again, like try just super gluing it to the piece of elastic and seeing if that works. If it doesn't work to glue this directly onto a piece of elastic for a headband, or if you're going to use a plastic headband, it would definitely stick to that. If you're going to use an elastic headband, you may want to cut a little piece of leather, and you could sandwich that elastic. I'll show you. Let me get that clear. So if you were to glue this onto a little piece of elastic to make an elastic headband, what I would do is put the elastic through here and then super glue this kind of like over, or maybe even stick it behind that so that the elastic goes behind this piece, and the super glue is just gluing the Leather-Effect Clay to the Leather-Effect Clay so that you get a sturdy bond. But there you go, there's the bow. I'll bring it up closer. So as you can see, just a cute, fun little bow, and I just free cut this, but you can find the templates and size it down to make whatever size bow that you want. And then we'll just super glue it to this alligator clip to make a fun bow. Yeah, so I don't know if any of you guys, I think some of you guys are crafting along with me, and I'd love to see what you guys are making. So if you do share it on social media or on your stories, be sure to tag Stadler North America, and then use those hashtags that I said. They're hashtag myFIMO, hashtag make it with Michaels, and then Stadler_NA, so that we can see what you guys were creating during this crafting hour. So there we go. There is a little bow. All right. Okay, so is there anything, oh, I did want to touch quickly on marbling. I know that marbling is super fun and people love doing that. And that can be done with the Leather-Effect Clay. Now it's a little bit different. I mean, you would use the same technique as you would with a FIMO Soft, but it's going to give you a little bit of a different look. So as you can see on this bracelet here, maybe, this is a black and white marble, but as you can see, it's a little bit more textured, and that is because of those fibers in the Leather-Effect Clay. So you're not going to get a smooth marble. You're going to get more of this textury looking marble. And I'll kind of show you one right now. Let's get a few pieces here. So we'll do a little bit of blues, a little bit of black, and I'm going to throw some gray in there. One thing I have noticed with the FIMO Leather-Effect Clay, so that you guys are aware, it does darken a little bit whenever it is baked. So, for example, this, it's not, I mean, maybe it's not even noticeable here on the camera, but you can see this pendant here is the baked one, and it is a little bit, just slightly darker than the clay is. It's just not as vibrant, just so you keep that in mind when you are crafting with it. I mean, if you want it to be a lot lighter, then mix it with maybe some white or something like that. So we just have 4 different colors, like you would with normal marbling, and I'm just going to start twisting this together. So I have to cut the circle for the bracelets. I think it's, so for the bracelet, somebody's asking about the size to cut the circle. It really just depends on the size of your hand and how flexible you are. So like I said, you can cut it to what you think will work, and then once it's baked, try it out and see if it works. Like for example, this red one, when I had used this initially, and it was just too small. There's no way my hand is fitting through this tiny circle. So I just took the X-acto knife, and you just gotta be very careful. You can also use a pair of scissors, but you can just kind of shave down the inside to make it a little bit bigger so that it can fit your hand. So again, just be careful doing that, or you can use a pair of scissors. Yes, you can sand the clay as well to smooth out the edges, but it's really not sharp. So I haven't found an issue, but yeah, you can do that as well if you want really smooth. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, one unique, I kind of ripped this one up like crazy, but I was gonna say one unique feature of the FIMO packages is if you, on the back, so she's talking about storing the clay, but on the back, if you open it like this is actually a resealable package. So you can pull this seam apart, and you can pull out the little section of clay that you need, and then you can reseal. You can just close this back up and reseal that so that you can store it directly in that package as well. Okay, so for the marbling, again, you just want to rolling those together and then just keep twisting, fold it in half, twist it, fold it in half. My kids love doing this. They're 7 and 10 and they could marble stuff all day. I mean, marble the clay all day long, which they have done a lot this summer. And then we'll roll it together and then just kind of keep twisting it until it gets as marbled as you like. Now this is kind of a chunkier marble right now, but the more you roll it, the more it will marble together. Okay, so now I'm going to squish it all together and I'm going to pass it through the clay rolling machine to get it rolled out quickly. Drop that. All right, so as you can see, it is marbled here, but I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer to the camera and see if you can focus on that. So you could see here where it's more textured and like grainy, I guess as you would say, than you would get with the FIMO Soft, and that is the leather effect. Those little fibers in there, they're causing that texture look. So still marbled, but just a different look. So if you're trying to get that smooth marble, then you might want to use a FIMO Soft, but this does marble and make a really cool thing, cool look as well. And then yeah, you could just cut it again with those craft cutters, or bake it and make a bow, or freehand it, make a bangle, whatever you want. All right. So, could you cut this on the Glowforge? I have tried it. It does, I tried regular clay. I did not try the Leather-Effect Clay, and I tried it before it was baked, and it actually cooked and cured the clay while it was cutting it. And it leaves black edges around the edge. So not something maybe that you would want to try, but you could definitely try it once it's been baked. You could try doing the laser cutter and see how it works, because it is kind of like leather. And the Glowforge, I mean, I know it could cut it. I just don't know if it would burn it or what it would look like. But when you put it in there raw, it does cure it inside the Glowforge. Yeah, I have my Qriket Maker here. I can show you guys at least how to start a cut on that. Let me clear out everything out of the way. Let's see. A little bit. Sorry, there's so many crafting supplies. So with the Qriket Maker, again, you're gonna want the knife blade and just either standard grip or a heavy duty grip blade. I mean, mat. And then you're going to take your leather piece, and I like to trim up. Again, it's once it's been baked, but I like to trim it up so that I get a nicer edge that will fit on the mat easier. And if you have a brayer, you can use that. I'm just going to kind of use my hands to kind of get that to stick on there well. This mat has been well loved. All right. So let me see if I can bring it in. Okay, so let me pull up. I have my husband's computer here. And sorry, I'm having to adjust the pattern here that I have. Okay, let's see. Make sure that the sizing is right for the piece that I have. So I don't know how to do this on my, anyway. Okay, so I just have my pattern. I'm just doing the Monstera leaves on here, and I just have it set for my Qriket Maker. And again, I'm going to select the material as leather. And I'm going with the thinner leather, the garment leather. It says 2 to 3 ounces, 0.8 millimeters. I have the knife blade in. And so then I'll just load it into the machine. And I do like to put the little rings, I don't know if you can see that, these little rings on the clay. It says not to do it on the clay, or at least on the sides, because it does hold it in place. And then I'm just going to set to cut. And it will start cutting. So it's really just as easy. I mean, it's going to be kind of loud here now cutting, but it's really just as easy as you would be cutting leather on the Qriket Maker or some sort of like maybe chipboard or something like that, because it does require a few passes and it does require that knife blade, but it's going to cut it, I mean, just like it would anything else. So it's pretty straightforward and easy. This is the Qriket Maker. The Qriket Maker is the one that does have a rotary blade and it has a knife blade, so you can cut fabric and leather and other stiffer materials than you would with the Cricut Explorer. That's why I like this one. It has a multitude of uses. All right, so I mean, I guess we're nearing the end. If you guys have any questions now or anything you want me to cover that I didn't cover, let me know while this is cutting, because it's going to take a little bit. We're at 14% cut, and I have one earring in because the other one is here. Just noticed that, you know, making a fashion statement. But again, yeah, so many uses. And if you, oh, let me tell you. So next week, there's going to be one more class, and it's going to be Sam will be teaching the class next Thursday. You can find that class on michaels.com/online-classes. And this class, if you missed anything or want to watch it again or share it with a friend, will be online in 24 hours at michaels.com/classes. And for those two, this. Glued on top. No, this, I'm assuming that this just has a jump ring attaching the two pieces. So this was just a piece of Leather-Effect Clay, and this is a piece of Leather-Effect Clay, and I just poked the hole and used the jump ring to attach them. And then I used the paint pen to draw on. So you can actually turn it around. So this was the pattern that I tried to do, a crosshatch. But as you can see, those lines just aren't straight and they get too thick once you roll it. So that's why I really like the paint pen and how you can get those thin lines on there. Okay, so I had covered that. So I just want to make sure, yeah, and I have the class for Sam next week. And, oh, so this is why you need a braider. This just moved my clay piece. All right, well, I'm gonna pause that. All right. But so you really need to make sure that this is well adhered to the mat before you cut it, because I was not paying attention and it just slid out. The pen, it's just any sort of, I mean, there's several different brands. You just want to look for an oil-based, it's just going to say paint pen. This one is Craft Smart. This is the Michaels brand that you can get at Michaels. They have a bunch of different colors. Craft Smart. Sorry, my thing doesn't want to focus. Craft Smart. And then this is just a Sharpie oil-based paint pen. Again, you can find this at Michaels. There you go. And this isn't a regular Sharpie. This is the paint pen, the oil-based paint pen. All right. I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to, again, follow Stadler North America. Follow me at Kyler Chic. And check out the other online classes that are coming next week with Sam. You can learn about more FIMO Leather-Effect jewelry, or actually I don't know what she's teaching, but more FIMO techniques and how to use the clay for different things. Again, michaels.com/online-classes, and then check this one out again if you need to brush up on any of your techniques at michaels.com/classes. Bye guys.